Welcome back to Bazooka Kickboxing and MMA. Today's episode, powered by Hayabusa, is all about how do you manage a full-time training schedule with a full-time work schedule. All right, in today's episode, I'm gonna give you 5 different tips that's gonna help you work full-time and still manage a full day of training. You wanna train full-time is the ultimate goal, but in reality, let's be honest, combat sports, you need to get to that top level before you can really afford to be able to take work off and train full-time. Me personally, I worked all the way up to my world title fight, right? I was literally a high school teacher 1 week before I leaving for Los Angeles for my title fight. So my whole career, I've had to balance and kind of create a structure that's gonna allow me to work and still train maximally and at a world-class level, all right? Now, just a little side topic, to me, sometimes I think working can actually be a benefit. If you're only focused 100% on training as you're developing, there's a lot of pressure, there's a lot of nerves. So sometimes working for me wouldn't let me think of the big fights. I remember going to Turkey and people saying, hey Joe, you're fighting your big glory debut in Turkey. I was like, man, I didn't even really think about it at some points, because when I'm at work, I'm so work focused. So it gave me that difference and a break from always thinking about the fight that gets me nervous a lot of times. So there is a little bit of a benefit, but let's be honest, the ultimate goal is to be able to train full time as a professional, all right? So, but I'm gonna give you 5 different tips that you might kind of use, take some, take others, that might work on getting that type of work training balance and still being able to compete at the highest level. So number 1 is having a structured training schedule, right? When you work, for example, I used to work every single morning. I knew the times I worked. As a school teacher, I started at 8 a.m. and I finished at 3:30 p.m. I'd get in my car, I'd have my meal planned already, so I'd be eating and driving to training to get to training by 4:30, okay? So, but at 4:30, I knew every single day what time I was training, who was going to be there, and I think that's the most important thing. If you finish work and then you're scrambling to try to find training, it's never going to work. You have to be able to structure your team in training so everybody knows when and what time to meet. That's going to really help you a lot. Okay, now the other thing is we don't have that luxury of training twice a day. So unfortunately, for those who think there's days off when you work and train full time, unfortunately there's not. So those who now think that, oh, I'm going to fight and take a month off, no. With a work training balance, you have to be in the gym constantly all year round, right? So it's very important that you don't take these times off, because you don't have twice a day to learn. It's usually the way I structure it, when it's fight camp time, it's all about that hard training. We're fighting 3 3-minute rounds. We're building that pace to be the maximum pace you can do, okay? But now, off camp time, we don't have to work as hard, but this is where we're gonna do more of the learning, whether we're working our boxing, our kick defense, you know, our southpaw training, whatever it is, most of our learning is gonna happen right after the fights, and then when it's fight time, we really kind of change it up to do those hard rounds, get that pace of the fight that we're looking for. All right. Now, the second thing I'm going to talk about is purposeful training, okay? Purposeful training is important. Now, you have the times, you have the training partners at the right time, you know where they are, you're here, but what are you doing in that time? You have to maximize that time. Unfortunately, there's no time for you to play around, for you to have off days, for you to be mentally unfocused. Yes, I'm sure there's time, but you have to make sure. I know you're tired from work, but as soon as you walk into that gym door, you have to leave all your work stress, your work problems, your relationship problems, those all stay in the car. We call that the parking lot theory. Leave all those problems there. As soon as you walk in the gym, you have to be mentally focused, not thinking about how tired you are, how hungry you are, how you have, you know, a busy work day the next day, okay? So you got to go in and have purposeful training. Now, what is purposeful training? If you're going in and you're randomly working one thing then the other thing, you have to have purpose. What are you doing in that to maximize yourself for the fight? Are you working, you know, power? Are we doing changing? Are we working our boxing? What are we going to work that's going to help us? Okay, you can't be playing around. All right, there's no guessing on what you're doing, looking at things. You have to have someone and a coach you believe that's going to keep everyone focused. Now, you don't have the luxury of training twice a day, so you're going to have to really work hard when you do it. When my coach says 3 rounds of pads, it's not messing around 3 rounds. I have to put maximum amount of energy in everything I do. I only trained an hour and a half. There weren't 3-hour training sessions, but I worked hard and everything I did for an hour and 30 minutes. And everyone's like, how was your conditioning so good? I'd never played around. When it was 3 rounds, it was 3 rounds, all right? Which is gonna lead us to number 3, is prioritizing the type of training you're doing. Now, this became a controversial topic in my career because I never ran. And everyone's like, oh, you need to run to be a fighter. You need to get up in the morning to run 10K. I had to go to work. If I ran 10K before I went to work, I would be exhausted for work. I wouldn't have the energy to do well at work, and then after work to go to train, I'd be exhausted, all right? And at that point, I'm not an endurance athlete. I'm a high level endurance, intensity athlete, right? A fight isn't a steady pace for an hour. It is 9 minutes of up and down intensity, and that's what you have to train. It's more, for me, beneficial because I don't have the time to train for 10 minutes with intensity spikes than run for an hour slow pace. That's why I did hard rounds on the bag for my conditioning over the 10K. That had a higher priority for me based on my time. Would I have loved the luxury of waking up nice and easy, slowly going for a nice little chill run and going to yoga class? And then, yes, that's nice if you have that luxury, but we're talking about work training balance, all right? So you have to prioritize at that time, all right? What's more beneficial? 3 hard rounds of pads, or are you going for a steady pace, long aerobic run? You get my point. All right, which is going to lead up to the 4th thing that we're going to really talk about is overtraining. Now, this becomes a big topic in all athletes because we always think we have to do more. But let's be honest, you working 8 hours a day is very draining, it's very strenuous. Even if it's just mental strain of you sitting at a computer, being somewhere you don't want to be, that is physically exhausting, all right? So building in breaks is important, and sometimes recognizing, hey, you might need a day off. You might have to take Friday off in order to work extra hard on Saturday, right? Instead of continually deteriorating yourself so your immune system crashes, your nervous system crashes, take those little breaks. So the point I like to give it, is it good to go hard every day and then by the end of the week you're performing at 30%? Or maybe taking Friday off, recovering, and then being able to perform at 100% on Saturday. So building in break times with your work is important, and not over jamming that schedule. You don't need to train for 3 hours after work. Purposeful training, and use all those things that we talked about before. Now, the last point, which is going to be the 5th and final one, it's going to be one you might not be happy about, but at the end of the day, you're going to have to limit your social events. You're going to have to limit the parties. And hey, let's be honest, having a partner, a boyfriend or a girlfriend, takes a lot of energy and time. So that and those types of things might have to be put on the back step a little bit, all right? Yes, it's nice to have all these luxuries and go to parties and eats, but after you work and you train, to have the ability to go to a party and get up and train the next day and then go to work becomes very difficult. So just as much as you plan and structure your training, you need to plan and structure your social events, right? Because at the end of the day, I believe that happiest ultimate martial arts is going to have the balance between working, training, and life, right? We want to have that balance to still have time with our families, so make sure you structure that time in as well. All right. Hope you enjoyed today's episode. Make sure you keep liking, subscribing, and sharing Bazooka Kickboxing and MMA. Make sure you support the channel by supporting our sponsors. First, Hayabusa by going to Hayabusa Fight, all linked below. Perfect Sports Nutrition. Use code Bazooka20 to get 20 off your supplements. Last but not least, bazookatraining.com. Can't say it enough how good this site is for your learning. Whether you're an MMA fighter, a kickboxer, a Muay Thai fighter, new to martial arts, an experienced fighter, there's always something for you. Our levels are broken up into home workouts if you got no equipment, bag workouts, sparring drills, tutorials, less than $10 a month, plus an archive library now with 400 videos. Yes, 400 for you to learn. 2023, if you sign up, will be a good year of learning for you. All right, we'll see you next time here at Bazooka Kickboxing and MMA. Welcome to Bazooka Kickboxing and MMA online training. I'm Bazooka Joe Valtellini, the owner here at Bazooka Kickboxing and MMA. Over the past year, I've designed and created a website to teach Bazooka curriculum at home and across the world. The purpose of this website is for you to, 1, hit your fitness and health goals, all while learning world-class martial arts instruction from me. The beautiful thing about this website, it's geared for all levels. So if you're learning martial arts for the first time as a beginner, we help you progress into the bigger stages. And if you're a pro fighter, guess what? We have different fight concepts for you to improve your tool set and your skills in the ring or cage. As the fastest rising kickboxing world champion and a lifelong martial artist with over 30 years of experience, I've been able to combine my passion for martial arts and teaching to create this website. This website is going to give you some of the tricks, secrets, and inside look at some of the training I use to win my world title. Once you subscribe to this site, you're going to be getting weekly training videos and tutorials that you can do from anywhere. The sections are broken up into 3 parts. The first is bag workout. So if you have a bag at home or at your gym, you can use these workouts to supplement your training. The second is at-home workouts. A lot of us don't have the room for a bag or a bag in general, so these workouts are for no equipment needed and you can do them anywhere. And finally, the tutorial section. If you're having any problems with a specific technique or fight concept that's covered in any of the workouts, go to the tutorial section, learn the technique, and then go back to the workout, and this time, do it with proper technique. One of the added benefits once you subscribe is the forums section, where you can get a more personalized experience where you can ask questions and I'll be able to go in there and answer them. It's all about building a team and a community of martial artists helping each other grow. So subscribe now to get access to all the videos plus more so you can be part of the squad here at Bazooka Kickboxing and MMA.